Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the episode of the Scrollies podcast where we lose all goodwill we had with Square Enix. I am your host, SqatCobblr. First off, let me introduce my co-host, as always.
Hey, it's Ratnado of Team Ratnado at twitch.tv/Team Ratnado.
Heck yeah. And joining us today for the Scrollies podcast is the one, the only...
You know who you are, big boy.
It is I, Sammy D, aka Samson ID, aka Ollie's dad, in the house.
Yo, we scored Ollie's dad?
Yes, it is I, the dad of Ollie, the owner of Cat, the streamer on Twitch, Raidsonite, Samsonite, you bag that I don't know if I'm allowed to say to this day, but it is I, the D stands for bag, and here I am. I've always wanted to be here ever since this was a thing 2 months ago.
How did we get Samsonite? What in the world?
Let me tell you a little bit about how this happened. And I'm sorry to waste your time on this, but we have to address the elephant in the room, everyone. You all know about it. There was a leak from within the Scrollies podcast. We don't know who it came from. We're having our attorney, Chunky Cat. She's looking into it. You know, we're going to get to the bottom of this, but the word got out. Our guest today, Sam, I'm sorry. You are our backup. Our original guest was your cat, Ollie. And he wasn't able to make it, everyone. He's very reclusive, as you know. We were excited to maybe be his first interview ever, but, you know, it's just not going to happen. Regardless, with this leak, we had a lot of questions come in, and I figured we'd start a new little segment called Cat Questionnaire. And, Sam, if you wouldn't mind answering on behalf of Ollie, we have some questions here from several cats, actually, which is, you know, questions for cats by cats. The first comes from Mooncat Gab, the one who bestowed Vicky Salad upon us. Thank you, Mooncat. She asks, Ollie, how are you doing, bruh?
Well, Ollie, first of all, would like to say he is doing catacular. He loves all of the attention that Mooncat gives, and he also has been really, really, really happy with all the treats that I've given him lately. So I am going above the kernel limit, basically having more than 10 kernels a day. Even though the vet said give him only 10 kernels, I have upped it to 12 because he's been such a good boy. So he's doing great, bro. His words, not mine.
Remarkable.
Amazing.
You know, that's fantastic, because our second question comes from a fellow Chunky Cat, who was our guest a couple weeks ago. She asks, what are Ollie's favorite types of treats?
Well, he doesn't know it, but the kinds that keep him healthy. But if he'll have any way or say, it's tuna and chicken all day. Because any time you give him chicken, he's a fiend. The only time he's ever growled at me, ever growled at me in his life, is when I put chicken under his mouth and then went to take it back from him. So I guess you could say that's his favorite chicken treat all the way.
Remarkable. It's amazing you still have your hand after that behavior, man. Well,
it's actually a fake hand.
Oh, well, it's no wonder he keeps his hands out of frame. I'm sorry, Sam. Fantastic. So the last question I'm seeing comes from Team Cat NATO.
Who could that be?
I've never heard from you before, Team Cat NATO, but welcome. Thanks for listening.
Whoever they are, I just want to say that is a great username. Incredible. My lawyer will be contacting you, though.
He asked, Ollie, what are your thoughts on rodents?
Ollie has been asked this question before. He's sick of it, really, honestly. He's sick of the question because he's pissed.
I'm sorry. That was a Team Cat NATO. That was a loaded question. Ollie's time is more valuable than this. He doesn't need to answer to these kind of inflammatory.
No. Let's hear him out.
Yes.
You know, let's just.
He'll do it for me. He loves me, so he will answer this one last time. He hates that he's never seen a rat. He lives in a land of birds that torment him throughout his days and his nights. Every day he sees birds that he cannot capture, birds that he cannot eat. And frankly, that's been making him more mad. So anytime that a rat discussion gets brought up, he's more confused and he doesn't understand it. So that's why he's upset. He doesn't know what a rat is.
Oh, you know, that's unfortunate.
Is Sam's Club purgatory?
I think so.
Kind of sounds like it to me.
I think so. Sam's Club. It's a prison for him in ways. This has gotten really dark.
No.
Tormented by dozens of viewers in chat that want to see him all the time. He's tormented by birds every other moment of his waking life.
To him, the grass is greener on the other side because there are birds, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know what's out there. This is better for him. He doesn't need to eat birds and rats all day. Though the one time that he did go out there, he did capture a bird in his mouth, and I had to swat it out of his mouth.
I hate to break it to you, Sam, but chicken is in fact a type of bird.
Wait a minute.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This may be the reason why.
Some do call them what are they called? Flying pigeons? Flying pigeons are actually flying rats? Pigeons are actually flying rats?
Whoa.
Wait.
I think this conversation has run its course. This has been the first segment of Cat Questionnaire, everyone. Moving on. Samson ID, welcome to the Scrollies podcast. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good. What can I say? But thank you for having me. It's crazy to see you both in this way, video format. I feel like it's 2004 all over again, and I'm shocked that I could do a webcam call with you. I don't do this ever. This is my first podcast. Now, the very first podcast I did was 5 years ago, but it was all video format, and it was just for Twitch. It was a Twitch podcast back when they had game show and talk shows. Now everybody uses just chatting, so that's not a very popular section anymore. But yeah, I'm doing good.
Well, you know, Sam, if there's one thing about the Team Ratnado channel, the SqatCobblr brand, it is going back 5 years in time and bringing something forward that probably shouldn't be, but doing the best we can, shining it up as much as we can. And I want to thank you. Thank you for your time, for being on this podcast.
I appreciate that. I guess that just begs the question, is Team Ratnado retro?
Oh, no.
Not this again. that for those that don't know, that topic did come from a very heated argument in Sam's very own chat in regards to PS3 and Xbox 360. But not to rehash that, today we're covering a topic that both of our co-hosts are much more knowledgeable on than myself. But before we get into that, let's ask a little question that correlates. Samson ID, what was your first Square Enix game?
Wow. I would the easy answer would be to say Final Fantasy X, but it's not the answer. The real answer lies.
It's not the answer.
The real answer lies in a duplex in Delavan, Wisconsin.
Whoa.
Well, we're going deep, yeah, even with the lore of the city, because I don't live there anymore, so it doesn't matter. It's a duplex of my neighbor, a neighbor who collected too many Beanie Babies. Inside that place, there was a PlayStation 1, and inside that PlayStation 1 was Final Fantasy VII. And I was just, I think I was like 8 or 9 or 10. I was just a little kid. I didn't grow up in the world of PlayStation 1s and other Sony doohickeys. I had N64. So I was a Nintendo baby, you know? So seeing a Sony PlayStation 1 and then seeing that box art with Square Enix plastered on it, or not Square Enix at the time, Squaresoft, my apologies, and then seeing Cloud with his cool badass sword. That was one of the coolest things ever to me, and I did not grow up in that household. Obviously, I didn't live with the Beanie Baby lady, but having that experience playing that game at the neighbor's house was my first Square Enix game.
Fantastic. You now have several thousand Rataboys headed your way for that.
Yes.
Probably unlimited at that point.
I'll take it. I'm just scared if it was Final Fantasy VI, what you have done for me.
Oh man, you don't want to know, because when you find out, you'll be very depressed. You could have retired.
That's why I haven't streamed Final Fantasy VI yet. That's a good exact reason why.
No, I want to say though that story started out really good. I wish there had been a few more 90s references. You got the Beanie Babies, you got the PlayStation. You know, I was hoping for like a Titanic reference or something.
Yeah. Or a Furby. Maybe a Furby came and called to me from behind and said, "Play Final Fantasy VII now."
Very nice. Ratnado, I'm assuming you played a Square Soft game straight out of the womb, but I mean, by all means, tell us, what was your first Square or Enix game?
Oh, my first Square game, my first Enix game. Do you want Squeenix or do you want... I'll go with both. You know what? Let's take some time. Sam, you've got like 5 hours, right?
I don't think anyone complained for a little more content here at the Scrollies podcast.
First Squaresoft, probably Final Fantasy IV, then Final Fantasy II. So that was kind of the golden age. That's where all of my top 3 favorite come from: Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Final Fantasy IV from the Squaresoft age. And then Enix, Final Fantasy X, probably the same thing.
Wait, The fact checkers, though, don't count Final Fantasy X as the first Square Enix game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The first Square Enix game was, in America, was Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube.
That would make sense. Yeah, Crystal Chronicles was great.
Yeah, Crystal Chronicles, then Sword of Mana, then Drakengard, which my brother, shout out to Aonic Ninja, played the heck out of Drakengard, and then Final Fantasy X-2, which was my first Square Enix game was Final Fantasy X-2.
Oh my goodness. Incredible. Hey, what did you think about the massage scene in Final Fantasy X-2?
I've only played the demo. You had me at massage scene, honestly. I mean, yeah.
Wow. Massages and this is just getting exciting off the bat. But before we get into that, my first Square Enix game was neither a Final nor a Fantasy. It was a Dragon Quest Swords on the Wii, and that is the most SqatCobblr answer I could give, because forgoing all usual numbers game mechanics, it had combat controlled by swinging the Wii remote around. I had so much fun playing that. By far the best experience ever playing a numbers game, and I never finished it, so there you go.
There you go. Hey, you would play that. That makes sense, because it was a game on a Nintendo system.
Yes, my guy.
Oh, classic.
I am a creature of habit. What can I say? All right. So everyone, we're not here to talk about Square Enix, but we are here to talk about a developer, a writer of Square Enix, specifically one that is very heavily involved in the Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts series. Tetsuya Nomura. I don't really have much of a dog in this fight. I know we have our co-host and our guest on fairly opposite ends of the spectrum, so I'll let Ratnado take the floor, because I know he feels real strongly about this individual.
Okay, so I just want to say, number one, if this same title makes it, if you guys are hearing this, then the title stayed the same. SqatCobblr, just incredible. What a title. Nomura or Yesmura, incredible. Love it. Let's all round of applause for Squat.
Thank you. I thought of that in my shower.
Incredible. Tetsuya Nomura, genius or not? That's the real question. And well, our guest here, I don't want to start off attacking him, but I'm going to say Tetsuya Nomura to me. Nomura, you guys can't see this, but I got a thumbs down. Nomura.
He's giving a big thumbs down.
2 of them.
Oh my gosh.
I see him. I see his thumbs, guys. I see his thumbs live.
Oh my goodness. It's complex, and and I do take this side often. I think that's where I usually end up. Nomura, not my favorite person of all time, and I think there's a lot of gamers out there who, oh man, if you thought Chunky Cat was bringing the hot takes, I know this is going to start something, somewhere. I'm going to get some angry DMs for this. Just not a huge fan of Tetsuya Nomura.
Everyone, he's speaking from the heart right now. I've heard this before offline, but this is we're getting into the nitty gritty why this is, and let me tell you, you are in for some real triggering content. So here's your warning from here on out. All hands are off.
I'm scared. I'm truly scared for this.
I'm coming for you, Sam.
Sam, you consider yourself a big fan of Kingdom Hearts.
Wait a minute. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And I don't...
Asterisk though. There's an asterisk at it.
Okay, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Sam. So tell me, is there anything you have to respond to Team Ratnado's feelings on Tetsuya?
No, because it's not a yes or a no more for me. Honestly, one of the first things I wanted to do after I beat Kingdom Hearts 3 was tweet the same thing. No more Tetsuya Nomura. I left that tweet on the draft board. No joke, I was going to tweet that. I was like, no more Tetsuya Nomura. But if he had his thumb down in front of me, as I saw earlier, I would take my thumb and I would latch it on and just move it sideways with him. We would almost be brothers in arms. This is not going to be some kind of celebrity death match where we're both going toe-to-toe. This is more of
It's the tag team.
It's a tag team, but also with an asterisk. He's obviously got a hotter dog in the race of maybe hating on him, but my word's not his. But I think Nomura had something going the first 2 Kingdom Hearts, and I think that he did some great work on the Final Fantasy VII Remake in general. So I really can't be mad at him. I think his problem was Kingdom Hearts 3. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 was 8 steps backwards for 2 steps forward.
Whoa.
And I thought the story was a mess.
Oh Remarkable. Well, we've just lost any and all Kingdom Hearts fans we still had listening, so goodbye.
I'm sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans. I still love Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and Birth by Sleep. Don't hate me.
Ratnado, would you agree? Did the downfall begin at Kingdom Hearts 3, or was it perhaps before that?
Even earlier. And I know we talked about like the start of Squares. Okay, let me give you guys the quick rundown of how I see it. I think, Sam, what you said there is pretty nuanced, except for, again, you are like really like balancing me out here. You know?
I'm pulling you up a little, if you could say that. Pulling you up.
You're taking it from a Yesmura and a Nomura to a maybe-ura? Is that fair to say, Squat?
I'll have to amend the title.
Yeah. Okay. I think that Samsonite and I really are canceling out each other, okay? We're going from, there's no Yesmura, no Nomura, but maybe a Maybe-ura? Maybe-ura? It could be. I do agree. I think that there are some good things that he's done. I don't want to come off as completely only bashing, but I do think that there's a lot of stuff, especially in the past, let's say 20 years, that Nomura was given a little too much. He was able to just kind of have free reign over everything. And there's nuanced arguments that people have made, but I would argue the exact opposite, Sam, that all they really had to do with Final Fantasy VII Remake is, well, remake it.
That's fair. That's completely fair. I will say that I don't know what he did, what he had his hand in, but there were some pacing issues. I think he might be the master of pacing issues because, and this conversation could open my mind. This 10, 20, 30-minute conversation in the short time that we talk to each other, you might change my mind on this because if you talk to my friend, shout out to Slaith, the rarely seen Slaith, but a dear, dear friend.
Slaith.
He is out there. If he's out there listening, he will totally destroy me if I don't actually just stand my ground on this because he's basically a hater of the remake, except for the combat. I will say that Nomura does suffer from pacing issues, over-explaining, because there's that whole scene, I think it's like chapter 4 or 5, where you're walking around as Aerith in the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's slow. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem like this really beautiful segment, but it really dampens the whole game's pace. You spend like 45, 35, 25 minutes walking just up this bridge of, overseeing the slums. And I don't know. Maybe he just has an issue with pace.
One thing that I've heard a lot of people talk about is that he actually didn't have a lot over Final Fantasy VII Remake. Everybody out there knows I love Final Fantasy VII Remake. And the things that I like the most, I think, do relate to a lot of stuff that they tried to do to add on to it. The whole thing with the Arbiters of Fate, just to me reeks of Nomura. Of like, well, I've got to take this story, put it inside of itself, make it meta. And it just didn't need that. There's so many things, and maybe, who knows, maybe just because I know so much about like Final Fantasy that it just seems like, oh, and you thought you knew this? This is now meta, and I'm talking about you, Ratnado. It does feel very much of like, well, we're changing the story specifically to make it more complex, and so that the older lovers of these types of games have issues.
And that's what a bunch of us had, I think, is issues with it. But I also, to add on to that, I think they were just trying to add on to a game, and they knew it was going to be a series, and so they're stretching out a game that didn't need to be stretched out into 30, 40 hours, when this is the first 5 to 6, 7 hours of the main game, of the first Final Fantasy VII, the original? They didn't need to stretch that to 40, did they? Did they?
Yeah.
Now I'm like thinking, did Nomura do that? Or did somebody else do it? Because it says that he's credited as director. It's credited as the concept designer and character designer. Obviously, he's the character designer. He puts belts on everything. You guys can see he's the character designer from a mile away. But what did he do as director? I guess that's the question. Is he the reason for the pacing issues? Is he the reason for all this?
Yeah, I think. I think to me, a lot of what it is. A lot of what I don't like about that, whether or not those were directly his ideas, they have consistently been things that he's done in his games for 2 decades now. He always kind of does the same things, and he's in charge. So at the end of the day, I mean, he's still responsible for that. And like I said, when I saw that, I mean, spoilies, if you see the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was just like, oh gosh, this is so Nomura. This is the most Nomura thing ever.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. It's like, who put Kingdom Hearts in my Final Fantasy cereal? Who did this? Who did this?
And I don't know, Squat, what do you know what we're talking about? You played Kingdom Hearts 3, right?
What?
I played the Hercules chapter of Kingdom Hearts 3.
I don't want to. I have never seen Squat look so unhappy, and I that's okay. But I've never seen you look so like you couldn't get out of there faster. You couldn't get out of there quicker. You were just like, when is the stream gonna end? Who did this to me? Why am I here? That I was just sitting there watching you, thinking that the whole time, like he hates me.
Well, I can tell you exactly who did this to me. It was Papa Warstaff choosing my destiny. But at the end of that stream, everyone, I said it was fine. You know, I was very lukewarm on it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but it was proud mode. Hey, I felt proud to be playing proud mode, and there may not be a part 2 of Kingdom Hearts 3 ever, but hey, I can say that I've dipped my toe into it, and I can see how the accessibility of Kingdom Hearts makes it really easy to jump into for a number of Disney fans and Final Fantasy fans alike. And I, being neither one of those too heavily, is, it just didn't offer a lot to me. But I recognize that those who are fans of Kingdom Hearts are very passionate fans. It's very rare that I meet a casual Kingdom Hearts fan. It's always either they're playing through the whole series or they're they've played every game, every spin-off, which just is so foreign to me. I can't imagine even Zelda, a series that I love, I haven't played every game of, and I don't intend to play every game of. So it's like, what is it about those early Kingdom Hearts, Sam and Ratnado, that make them so beloved? And do you think that Tetsuya Nomura is responsible for this, and should he be credited with what makes those games so special to so many people?
I don't know if it's Nomura. I don't know. I don't think it's Nomura's. Well, obviously he's the reason that this happened. I think he did I think if you watch any video on Nomura, you'll find out that this was a chance elevator meeting, literally an elevator pitch in the making, where they were trying to get somebody as recognizable as Mario. Basically, Nomura was inspired by Super Mario, and he went to his team and he said he wanted to make a platforming game. And as you know, if you probably heard the story before, they said, no, we can't do a platforming game because and we can't make a game as good as Mario 64 because Mario is already so established. So then Nomura thought, well, what about Disney? What about Mickey Mouse? And it was originally going to have Mickey Mouse as the lead or Donald Duck as the lead, but those got shot down as well. So Nomura made Sora. I have no issues with Sora. Well, that's how you asked that question, but I don't think the magic is from Nomura. Thank you, Nomura, for bringing them together. I think it's the classic peanut butter and chocolate. You put them together and you got Reese's. This is not an ad for Reese's, by the way. They're not getting paid for this.
Screw you, Reese's.
Unless you want to sponsor us, then by all means.
But I think that the magic is inherently from a simpler time, from when we were younger, and we loved Disney growing up. I personally loved Aladdin, Hercules, Beauty and the Beast, and I also loved Final Fantasy X. I also loved anything Final Fantasy that I saw. So the fact that the two were merging together on a PlayStation 2 console, which was the console that I got when I was whatever age 2001 was. Grew up on the PlayStation 2. Like I told you earlier, I'm not a PlayStation 1 guy, but I am a huge PlayStation 2 fan. Huge PlayStation 2, greatest console ever. Still is to me. Okay, boomer. Don't worry about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why he still plays on original hardware.
Asterisk when I feel like it. Asterisk when I feel like it. But yeah, so to sum up the answer to your question, I would say it's not Nomura. In turn, it is just the simple fact that it's Final Fantasy and Disney, which the two of them are just beautiful together. As I get older, does it still have its magic? That's the question for another time, maybe. But yeah,
that'll be on part 2 episode.
When we have to come back and retract everything, get everyone back on our side.
Retcon at Ratcon.
Hey, thank you.
Ratcon 2023, maybe.
Yeah.
I want to answer that, Squat. I've got an answer.
By all means.
I think I have a really unique perspective, and I found that I've been able to relate to a lot of people through Kingdom Hearts that I probably otherwise wouldn't have. So, for example, let's say That's Amore or Chunky Cat. They both really love Kingdom Hearts. And I'm just okay on it. I think kind of like what Sam was saying is I don't know if I don't want to put words in your mouth, Sam, but I think that I like Kingdom Hearts in spite of Disney.
Yeah.
I like it because it has Cloud. I like it because it has Final Fantasy mechanics, because it has the same kind of like spells and stuff like that. But I don't need it to be Disney. There's no reason for it to be Disney to me. And I think a lot of the stuff, especially replaying Kingdom Hearts 1 last year, there was a lot of things that I noticed that were just like kind of like pacing, like you're saying, but even like the cutscenes and stuff are just so stilted and weird to me. I don't know.
Would you like Kingdom Hearts more if they went the opposite approach of 3? As what I mean is, they took out almost all Final Fantasy. Actually, all Final Fantasy was basically removed from 3 until the DLC Remind. Would you prefer an approach where they took out all the Disney and added all Final Fantasy? Because I would be okay with that too.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. A part of me knows that the reason Kingdom Hearts is so big isn't because of Final Fantasy fans. It's because of the Disney fans.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
Yeah.
In what world would, like, say, our friend That's Amori shout out, would she be playing through this huge, long story if it wasn't for the Disney characters? I don't know.
Well, I think the strengths of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, having implemented Disney, they implemented Disney better. So to Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 credit, which they're incredible games, I've always rated Kingdom Hearts 1 as like a solid 8.5, and Kingdom Hearts 2 is like a 9.5 for me. So I don't know if we're opposite on specifically those games, how you feel about, I don't know how you feel about 1 and 2 personally. I don't know your nostalgia level, because I know that's a part of it. I don't know if you grew up on it. Like, I grew up on watching, and I know if he doesn't want to be embarrassed, but I grew up on watching Little Aeonic Ninja, shout out to my brother Jay, crying at Kingdom Hearts 1. The first time I ever saw my little brother cry, his little 8-year-old cry, because he's always a tough kid. He was always a tough kid, still is. First time I ever saw him cry was to Kingdom Hearts 1, the ending. So that always has like a little emotional spot for me, because I was 12 when I saw that. I didn't end up beating those games until I was much older and streaming those games. So it's a little bit of nostalgia with 1 and 2. So I'm always putting them on a pedestal. But to their credit, I think they mixed Disney well into it, where the other games didn't mix it so well.
Yeah, I think kind of what we're talking about, to bring back the Nomura of it all, if you will. I think something I've noticed, and this is probably one of the first conversations I had with Squat about this, was talking about what I liked most about the original Final Fantasies. I mean, you had like the original writers of, say, like Final Fantasy VI, Yoshinori Kitase, Hironobu Sakaguchi, and also, Tetsuya Nomura was in there. He was part of that. He was doing the characters. And I don't want to go and say that, like, Tetsuya Nomura has nothing. He's whatever. I'm not saying that he's bad, but I just think that when he's given full creative control over something, you do just kind of get zippers and spiky hair, And that sounds like, oh, how can you say that, Rat? Final Fantasy VII. But I think there's so much, and I could go into it. And maybe that's part of the nostalgia of like why Final Fantasy VII is so big, why the things that I think that like Hironobu Sakaguchi brought in that were like, or Hironobu Sakaguchi or Yoshinori Kitase, of like Nordic traditions and things, and like there's so many details, there's so many things that are in there, and I think it was beautiful. It all came together for 6, for 7, and I just feel like personally that the things that Nomura does now on his own are just lacking some sort of balance.
There's not enough checks and balances. Maybe he's not being checked on, because I completely agree with everything you're saying. Yeah. And I think that Final Fantasy X, having him as just character designer, yeah, the characters sometimes look weird. Titus's costume looks strange, but there's a charm in Titus. There's a charm in Auron. There's a charm in all of his character design, but he didn't direct it. There we go. Final Fantasy X, one of my favorite games of all time. I love Digital Foundry as well. Shout out to that.
He loves Digital Foundry.
I love Digital Foundry. And I love Final Fantasy X. And I think Nomura had the perfect amount of input into it.
Yeah.
Wow, everyone. This did not go the way I expected it to. My jaw is on the floor right now. And I'm sure yours are as well, if you're not seething with rage at this point. Everyone, what else can be said except these two agree that Tetsuya Nomura maybe not best suited to be in the position of story developer and writer. I really have no dog in this fight, so I can't say otherwise, but wow. I'm speechless.
I do want to say to the Chunky Cats, the Mooncat Gabs, the Shraxes out there who love Kingdom Hearts, I get it. And I'm not saying that Kingdom Hearts is bad. I'm just saying that I think there are things that Tetsuya Nomura does, and I think that you would have liked it maybe more if there were more people that, I think made the greatest video games ever involved in it. There might have been something different in it. And I respect totally the Disney aspect of it. And I it's not that I dislike what he does. And there's so many things I can meme on, like especially like Crisis Core. Like to me, oh my gosh, that's the most Nomura game ever to be Nomura of all time.
No, wait a second. If this is hold the phone, because we might finally have a strong disagreement, and maybe I need to replay it. But Crisis Core hit in such a different way. I absolutely love Crisis Core. And also, time to another probably this might take away some of my credentials, but shocker, I've never beat Final Fantasy VII. I've only got to disc 3 or 2. Was it 2 or 3?
It's 3 altogether.
Yeah, I've only got to the end of disc 2, but I did beat Crisis Core, and it was a simpler time playing the PSP on my couch in the summer of 2009 or playing it on my porch. So there might be a little nostalgia there, but Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core hit me in a way. I love it. That's all I'm going to say is I absolutely love that game.
I get it.
There you go.
I think it's an amazing game too.
Oh, wait. Okay, then never mind. We're good.
No, but that's like, I mean, just think of the acting though. Think of this in like showing, you're 25 or let's say you're 20 and you're in college and you have to show to like your friends or to like a girl, like, hey, look at this thing I'm playing. If you showed them Final Fantasy VII Remake, you wouldn't be like embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, you're not like, it's anime and it's like Japanese kind of, and it's kind of, like you have to explain it. You don't have to. The voice acting is really good. Sure, it gets some weird things, but like Crisis Core?
Me? Gungaga. Hello to you too.
Like, it's not good acting. It's not.
But it's almost like, it's almost so bad it's good. Could it be? Or is it like not ashamed in how bad it is? Maybe.
But I think to me, that's what I'm saying is like, I think Nomura there is trying to be so good though.
Yeah. He is our Final Fantasy tryhard, isn't he?
He's not memeing. He's trying.
Yeah.
And that's my only argument. But and that being said, I still love Crisis Core.
Okay. You still love Crisis Core. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get so many people mad.
Get that out of your system. I'm glad you got that out of you. It feels like you just let out a weight of something.
Okay, I'm ready to go party. Let's party.
Wait, I'm still interested in your actual thoughts on 1 and 2. So Nomura made it better or worse?
Oh, no. I think they're fine. I'm like you, because we're the same age. I was like 12 when Kingdom Hearts came out.
Yeah.
And I remember I borrowed specifically KH1 from my friend Joseph. Shout out. I don't know where he's at anymore. He's out there. He's doing his thing. But I borrowed it from him. I remember I got up to like Agrabah.
Yeah.
And I was just at the age where I was like, I'm trying to like play sports and go to parties. And I cannot be sitting in my room and my dad coming in and looking at me playing with Donald Duck and Sora. I can't have that on my conscience. I can't have that on my TV. So I think maybe it just didn't hit at that time.
Would porn be easier to explain?
Yeah, 100%. Probably. Yeah, I wouldn't be as embarrassed.
Wow, that might play a lot into it. Like, this could be like a therapy session on Kingdom Hearts. Like, this is therapy right now.
Oh my goodness, Squat has prepared a room with Kingdom Hearts 1. Everyone's sitting around. Reliant K fans here. Charles Prime is here. They all got letters. It's a setup.
Actually, your family is here too, and they're telling you it's okay that you play Kingdom Hearts.
You guys, thank you.
We still accept you. We still accept you,
This is all for you, Ratnado.
I love Nomura, you guys.
It's just a Yesmura at the end.
I love Nomura.
Oh no!
I break out this zipper jacket, huge zippers and big clown shoes.
It's just got like the year 2009 on it. You've been waiting to wear this for years.
Well, gentlemen, I think there's only one thing left to say. Regardless of the quality, questionable or not, of Nomura's work, I think we can all agree that the one thing his games were missing above all else was blast processing.
At school, I found this magic lamp, and I wished for Disney's Aladdin for my Sega Genesis. It's like the movie, and I still have 2 more wishes.
Obviously.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I imagine many of you have thoughts on today's episode. I did not expect it to go this way at all. So please share them with us at scrolliespodcast@gmail.com, or better yet, in a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, etc. We will gladly read them off and respond to, I'm sure, your many, many thoughts.
Squat will read them off to me. All I'm allowed to say is, okay, all right, okay. That's all I'm allowed to say.
So there you go, everyone. There's your outlet to get it out of your system, and hopefully you come back next week. We promise it'll be nice and fluffy. Samsonite D, thank you so much for joining today. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, well, I do have a channel on Twitch, of all places, and that channel is twitch.tv/Samsonite_D. Make sure to add the underscore, otherwise you might be rerouted to some weird dark web, so I've been told. But yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys, go watch him. He's starting to do the piano streams, and they're really good.
They're okay.
I really liked it. I really liked
okay.
your piano stream the other day.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys, for having me. And I hope that maybe another conversation can arise, maybe just from the simple fact that maybe Squat is thinking about how much he could have contributed to this podcast if there was a Mushroom Kingdom Hearts with the likes of Donkey Kong.
Let's go. That's all Well, hey, Sam, you had me until you said Donkey Kong and Mushroom Kingdom. Let's be square here. They are two separate franchises. Mario is the DK spinoff. That's my hot take, everyone. We'll talk about it another time.
Super Mario RPG. That's all I'm going to say.
Whoa, great music. Anyways.
Ratnado, I've tried it 3 times. Every time I get bored. And Sam, before we let you go, I just gotta say, he's gonna get so bashful, folks, but this is the nicest streamer on all of Twitch. I'm always seeing him show up in these small channels chats, supporting, and he's always so welcoming whenever you pop in his stream. So please do give him a watch, and do say hello and say Scrolly sent you. I've been SqatCobblr of the Scrollies podcast. I'm joined as always by
Team Ratnado of twitch.tv/Team Ratnado.
And we will catch you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.